Courtney Trotter is our co-founder and lead instructor in Hebrew, and we're going to get to know her today. We're doing a series on teachers at Kairos Classroom, and today it is Courtney's turn. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Kairos Conversations. I'm Ryan Martin, our New Testament Greek guy. I'm joined by Courtney Trotter, our resident Hebrew enthusiast. And if you are interested in the Bible, in the New Testament, in the Old Testament, and understanding it through the lens of Hebrew and Greek, you're at the right place. Here we are going to help you explore, discover the world of the Bible through the original languages. And Courtney, today is your day. It's Courtney Trotter Day. We're going to get to know you and your story, both before coming to Kairos Classroom, kind of what coming on and working with Kairos has been like, or really starting Kairos Classroom with me, and just get to know a little bit about you and what you bring to your students and what you bring to this organization, what you're interested in, what you do when you're not teaching Hebrew. All that good stuff. So it's going to be a fun conversation. Can you just start off with your introduction to the biblical languages and to Hebrew specifically? What did that look like for you?
So my story, I always start my story with biblical languages kind of whenever I was born, I guess. So my father is an immigrant from Brazil. So from a very young age, I was exposed to other languages, and I just absolutely loved learning them and loved the idea that when you went to some other part of the world, they didn't talk like you did, you know? So I went and visited my family for the first time. It was just like a total eye-opener that like none of them spoke English. And so after that, I just realized that, man, I saw it as the gateway into meeting other people and enjoying new cultures. So I just always wanted to take languages for my electives and things like that. So throughout high school, I took French and got really good at French and did my undergrad in foreign language education, where I learned secondary language acquisition and French and how to teach a language. And so I did high school French teaching there for a little bit. And so then whenever I went to seminary, those were the classes that I loved to do. So in my undergrad, I took a bunch of different languages. Again, those were my electives. Those are what I wanted to do. So I took some Latin, some Arabic, some Portuguese, so I could, read some Portuguese literature. So I always loved that. So when we got to BSN, those were the classes that I felt already well equipped to do. I put a lot of time and energy into them, and they seemed to come naturally to me. So I absolutely loved taking Greek and Hebrew whenever I got there because of my language background.
Yeah, if I can brag on you, you also won like the Language Smarty Pants Beeson Award.
I did win the Biblical Languages Award. The Language Smarty Pants Award is its official title. Which, we've got a couple of our teachers here at Kairos who basically won the same award as well, because I guess this is the business that we attract, our language people. So I'm not the only one. But I was kind of like everybody's teacher, I guess, at BSN, because, my natural ability to make charts to teach French students, I just translated that into Greek and Hebrew. So, I even sometimes made charts for people in classes that I wasn't even in. I did a whole thing for a Romans class, and people were like, oh my gosh, Courtney, why'd you do this? And I was like, oh, it took me no time at all. There you go. So I guess I was always made to be a language teacher. And Ryan says I got the spiritual gift of chart making. So if you're enjoying our charts, whether in Greek or Hebrew, those have come from my computer.
I was talking with one of Courtney's former Hebrew teachers right after we started Kairos Classroom. I didn't know Courtney very well, and the first thing he said to me was, "Oh, her flashcards were color coded and had all these fancy mechanisms for." I was like, "All right, yeah. I think we got the right person."
Yeah, and some of that is some natural ability. When you start learning a language young, you've created this space in your brain to learn and acquire more languages. And then some of that is using some of those tools I learned in school to help learn languages better. But, honestly, in my family, my dad is even better at languages than me. He speaks, 7 or 8 languages and uses them all on a daily basis in his job. So, I guess it's part of the family business to like languages and to like communicating in them.
That's awesome. Well, so thankful that the Lord brought us together in this context of Kairos Classroom. Can you talk a little bit about that from your perspective? how you found yourself here, running this business that teaches Greek and Hebrew to people all over
Yeah,
the
so this
world.
is really one of those moments that over the last couple of years, it's just honestly a divine intervention. It's like really changed our lives for both me and my husband, and we're just so thankful for Kairos. But our other business partner, Jesse, which maybe we should do meet Jesse, so people could get to know him, even though
We
he's not
should
a
do meet
teacher.
Jesse
But
sometime.
our other
Oh
business
yeah.
partner, Jesse, was one of Ryan's first Greek students, and they went to the same church together, and that's how they got connected. And Jesse is an engineer, and so he's the exact kind of student that we like. Someone who's just a Bible nerd, but maybe not wanting to go into ministry, but just wants to learn Greek or Hebrew so that he can study the Bible better. So Jesse did that. He took Greek for that reason. And while he was taking that, he mentioned several times before he ever came to Ryan with a proposal, like, "Hey, Courtney, like, I'm taking like online classes from this guy at my church. I think you should do something similar." And I'd be like, "Okay, Jesse, that's good for him. Way to go for that guy." And then he was like, "Hey, I actually think this could be a business, and I want to invest in this, but I don't know anything about biblical languages or this kind of field. So if I was going to do this, I would want you to come in with me, and we do this together, and we make this like a for real business." So at that point, Jesse approached Ryan with that deal, like, "Hey, I want to be an investor for you, but you've got to take on my friend."
It really did feel kind of like that. I was like, I hope she's
Right. And
cool.
so it might seem weird. Like if you look on our website, you're like, oh, Ryan and Courtney went to the same seminary. And if you look at like the years that we graduated, we definitely overlapped. And if you knew our seminary, it's even weirder that we didn't know each other because there's like 100 people that go there. So it's not a lot
Yeah,
of
not that
people
big.
to be like ships crossing in the night. But alas, Ryan and I were. And so I knew who he was. He knew who I was, but we did not have a conversation there during our time at Beeson.
Really quite remarkable. And up to that point, when Courtney came on, we were only Greek. We were even called Kairos Greek. So Courtney taught the first Hebrew class for Kairos Classroom, and is our lead instructor in Hebrew, and kind of uh, really heads up that program. So if you've taken Hebrew with Kairos, even if it's been with another teacher, Courtney has kind of put that together and made it what it is, which is something that our students really, really love. And it's been fun to watch students that, even some of my students that finished Greek for and have gone into the Hebrew side. It's fun to watch them
Yeah.
do their thing. Awesome.
Yeah,
Go.
so it really has been a blessing to join Ryan and begin teaching Hebrew here at Kairos and to just see our students grow and learn and honestly learn Hebrew better than I feel like I learned it in seminary. And that's saying a lot because we had a really great biblical languages program at our school. But it really has been a blessing. And for us at Kairos, we really consider that moment where Jesse, Ryan, and I all came together as like our official start. We kind of, put it on the books, registered our business and all those good things. And so we're very thankful for
New
Jesse
name.
for having that vision to kind of expand this business into to a bigger business, to more people, more places, and things like that.
Yeah, I'm so thankful that the Lord brought the three of us together at the right time. And I know so many of you, Kairos Classroom has been so important in your life. And yeah, so join us in thanking God for what He's done, for His faithfulness. It's great. Courtney, what are you reading? What are you into right now in terms of your own personal learning, theology, biblical studies, kind of in that realm? This is something we want to ask our teachers when we interview them.
What am
What
I
are you
into
into these
these
days?
days? Well, if you want to know, like, kind of generally what I'm into is like kind of digging back into the church fathers and kind of early church doctrine and thought. So I kind of generally do that if I'm not doing something Hebrew related because I also really love that. But right now I'm reading this book, Being God's Image, from Carmen Joy Imes. You might have heard of her. She's a great Old Testament scholar who's written another book on bearing God's name in the book of Exodus and what that means in the Ten Commandments. And so then she's doing kind of deeper dive in this book, Being God's Image. And so it's been a real joy and privilege. I'm actually like a part of her launch team for this book, where we're going to write reviews and I guess theoretically post on social media, even though I'm really bad at posting on social media that like, hey, go buy this book. But this is really truthfully a book that I would recommend. I've already read it all the way through and it really is good. Just kind of going in depth of what does the image of God really mean there in Genesis chapter 1 and what implications does that have for our Christian walk. So it's very helpful for thinking through that. A couple of other books that I just really like right now. Again, kind of a biblical nerd about a lot of different things. And so this one right here, biblical philosophy, a Hebrew approach to the Old Testament,
yeah.
Old New Testament, by Drew Johnson. This is just something else I'm really interested in, is just getting more into that Hebrew way of thinking, that Hebrew thought, that Old Testament kind of way of thinking. And so Drew Johnson's really helpful for kind of breaking that down and giving a new framework to say, like, hey, biblical philosophy, or the philosophy of the Old Testament, is its own philosophical school that should be appreciated in its own right there, along with Greco-Roman, all the great Greco-Roman philosophers, and that it's unique for its time period and the way that it approached the larger questions in life. So, not done with that one yet, but it is good and worth picking up if you're interested in that kind of thing.
Well, you've held up 2 books that I want to read. I mean, this is fascinating stuff, and really, I mean, at the core of who we are and what we want to do is Kairos. I mean, and kind of more specifically with what does it mean to be the image of God, but more generally, like, we're here because we want to read the Old and New Testament within their original historical, literary, and philosophical frameworks, and it's very important for us to learn how to do that well. Yeah, that's great.
And in general, over the last couple years, this last one, even though it's been a little bit since I've read it, I'm going back through it again for some other reasons. But here it is, Participating in Christ by Michael Gorman. I'm kind of just like a Union with Christ nerd, so Michael Gorman is really good at looking at that and Pauline theology if you're into that. So I'm kind of reviewing a couple chapters just for my own thought to connect it with other things right now.
That is a great book. 2 thumbs up for Michael Gorman and Union with Christ stuff. That's awesome. Well, yeah, thank you. That's a good snapshot, and got some Old Testament, some New Testament, and some just general biblical worldview stuff there. So that's really helpful. Awesome. So outside of Kairos Classroom, when you're not teaching Hebrew or recording these podcast episodes or helping run this business, what are you doing? Where do you live? What does your life look like? Tell us all that good stuff.
I currently live here in Durham, North Carolina, on the East Coast of the United States. I know we got some students who are from other places, other countries, so they may not know where our states are located. So on the East Coast, not too far from DC. And my husband is a research scientist at Duke University. He does breast cancer metastasis research there. And so that's what moved us up here to this location, because Duke is located in Durham. So that's what he does. We are originally from South Alabama on the Gulf Coast, so we're kind of beach kids. And that's where I grew up, and that's where all of our families are located. And so we have just such a warm affection for the state of Alabama. And we met in high school, so we're kind of high school sweethearts. Kairos is a high school sweetheart business. I don't know if you know this, guys, but Ryan and Aubrey, me and Tim, and also Jesse, our business partner, and Emma, they're middle school sweethearts, so they beat us all out. But we kind of,
Yeah, wow.
So, yeah, we started dating our junior year of high school, and we've been together ever since. And just, each day is just so much fun together. And I did my undergrad at the University of Alabama, so roll tide there. Ryan and I are both huge college football fans, and up until recently, we've been able to keep those allegiances separate because, his team and my team are not in the same conference, But here coming up very soon, we're going to have to figure out how to manage our rivalry because they're now in the same conference.
I hope I'm surprised by how well this goes. In terms of Oklahoma and the SEC, not in terms of me and Courtney getting along. But
I thought you were talking about us getting along. Yeah, we'll see how Oklahoma and the SEC goes. I'm sure they'll be able to adapt, like Texas A&M or something. Yeah. So I love sports. I'm a huge sports nerd. Whether really anything with the ball is kind of exciting to me. I've always been that way. I always loved playing sports growing up, and I love watching them as well. But my 2 favorite sports to watch, if it's not college football, it is international tennis. So I really love tennis, which is very exciting.
And I got to go to the
French Open last year, so that's very exciting. And I'm getting to go here again soon in the next couple of weeks as well. So I'm very excited about that. So yeah, we've gone to a few international tennis tournaments here in the States, and we've gone to the French Open last year, and hopefully again here in a couple weeks.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah, we got a dog. I should. Well, he's on the floor right now beside me. He normally is sitting here in my lap, so I could hold him up. But Maybe some other time I'll get him. He's like kind of asleep right now. So we got a dog. His name is Ted.
We won't
He
disturb
kind of
Ted.
looks like a little teddy bear, and so he's kind of a little fluffy, small dog. And we like to, aside from watching sports, we really like to get outside on the weekends. There's lots of good hiking and stuff around where we live, or we have some kayaks. We like to go kayaking or fishing. You know, growing up on the beach, anytime you can get out of the water is really great. So we like to do those kinds of things as well. Yeah, so those are the things that we're into. If we're not geeking out about Hebrew in the Bible, it's, well, my husband, I guess, deals with me geeking out about Hebrew in the Bible. So if he's not talking about science and I'm not talking about Hebrew, we like to be outside. We like to, you know, go hiking, go fishing, go kayaking, and stuff like that. Grow plants. We like to grow things as well. You know, so we do those kinds of things.
Yeah. There's one other big thing I know about you that
Oh,
you're
what is
into
it?
that you're
Am
not
I forgetting
saying.
it?
There's something that you
Oh,
own a
yes.
lot of.
Okay. This is a thing, I guess. Yeah, Ryan knows about this. All right. This is a thing.
This is a thing. This is the first thing. When Courtney told me this the first time, I was like, "Oh, I didn't know."
Yeah,
that this
so
was a
I'm really
thing.
into premium Bibles,
sure you're
you
on the edge of
guys.
your
Oh yeah, I
seats.
got like 5 of them that are very handy dandy right here. So I'm really into premium Bibles. I don't know if you guys know this. This is like Skylar Bibles. This is this Bible right here. These are my favorite. If you're looking into one, this one is the personal size Quintel. It's this big. You know, it's a nice hand-sized Bible. But, you know, premium leather, paper that feels like butter and that is very opaque, and a perfect typesetting for reading your Bible. So I like the premium Bibles and have them in multiple different translations. Ted is ready to join our podcast now. He just jumped up here. So there's Ted. There's Ted.
There he
Yeah,
is.
he's looking kind of
Hey,
silly because
Ted.
he just took a nap.
Courtney will talk about, you know, like the ink weight,
Paper
or
weight.
paper.
Paper
I don't know
weight.
how to talk about it. She'll talk about the new Bible, and I'll be like, "Well, what's wrong with the one on my phone?" And she just
Yeah.
throws her hand. No, I'm kidding. No, it's been fun to learn a little bit, and I even have one. It's over there now.
Mm-hmm.
That is because of Courtney. Awesome. Anything else you want to say about yourself?
I think we've
The
pretty
good
much
people
covered
should know?
most of the, you know, kind of fun or silly things that we get to know about me. So yeah, that's kind of where we are, and you know, who we are, where we live in the country, and so hopefully we'll get to continue to live here for a really long time. My husband, you know, continues to have his job renewed here at Duke and everything like that. So we're excited about that. But that is one of the unique things about Kairos. Whenever we started, just to say that, is that Ryan and I, since we had not met at Beeson, met over the internet at Kairos like we do with most of our students. And up until this point, Ryan, I think we still have only seen each other 3 times in person.
Yep.
So you're like one of
3
my
times.
best friends, you know, and we've seen each other 3 times in person. So you guys, your experience in our classroom is very similar to mine and Ryan's experience running our business together every day, which is really kind of fun.
No, that is a great. I'm really glad you said that. I mean, this is. I feel like it's people talk about like missing embodied, especially, you know, during the lockdown and stuff, like how much we miss embodied communication, and I get that. Like the times that I get to teach in person, when I get to see Courtney not through a camera, like, you know, those are special times that we're thankful for. But Kairos, it really is a real community, and we really do learn together and teach one another and benefit from one another, even though we live here on the World Wide Web. So, you know, that's where Kairos lives, on the internet, and the Lord has done amazing things through this community. So that's awesome. That's a good way to finish. Thank you, Courtney, for talking about yourself. Thank you for being a part of Kairos. Hey, you can learn Hebrew from Courtney. You can. And there's always Hebrew 1 classes that are always around the corner, and you can join class and learn Hebrew from Courtney. You can sign up for a free trial lesson, just a way to see what our classes are like, to see what to meet with one of our teachers and ask any questions that you have. And in all of that, our goal is that you would understand the Bible better through the lens of the original languages. So that's what we're here to do. So thanks for tuning in and learning about Courtney, learning about this wonderful Hebrew Bible and how knowing the original languages can help you read it better. And we will see you next time.